Good evening, everybody. This post is about reflecting on language. Um, I think the language post was very informative. The word that jumped out at me first was collusion. I have a Facebook page which I try to use to discuss some of the issues in an open forum that are happening today in politics. And my question, a lot of times, many of my friends and family who have been friends of mine since probably 5 years old, often when there's a racially charged um, issue, question, or statement, often many of the group goes silent. So I just always thought, silence was kind of complicit and always ask why that happened. So I like the term collusion as a way to kind of talk about it and frame it. Additionally, I really like the word horizontal racism. I think one of my pod members posted about someone that she was in a relationship with who had been oppressed and received racism had been imposed upon that person, but yet when she brought someone to the home, they horizontally were oppressive and racist towards that person. So to know that you in turn can do in kind to something that's been done to you is considered horizontal racism. So that really jumped out at me. Third term that jumped out at me was in empowered person of color. I do believe from a young age and supported by my father that I always felt like I was an empowered person of color because I just did not let other people define who I was. I was always defining who I wanted to be and who I was as a person. So the judgment was of me to compete with myself to be a better person. So I didn't let those attacks impact me in a way in which held me back. Additionally, how might racism inform or shift how I analyze my leadership? I am the manager over or the director over 92 SLPs, and we have to do evaluations. And on those evaluations, there is an area on the rubric that talks about cultural and linguistic sensitivities. And often when we have to have these conversations about what that looks like, a lot of the therapists just really have no idea that they are not being cultural, linguistically sensitive, even as things as simple as saying what the Thanksgiving dinner should be for students and asking them what they have for Thanksgiving, and when they answer, they're like, you didn't have turkey and mashed potatoes and green beans, and the kids are like, no, that's not what we have. But being very excited about what they did have because that's their experience and that's what they've always had for Thanksgiving. So things like that, or none of the rooms being decorated or Black History Month being celebrated or incorporated into any of the lessons or cultural things. We have students that are Middle Eastern and from Latin America, and just not really incorporating some of those things into the teachings and the lessons in which they bring to the students. Have I ever experienced no, the next question is about privilege. So I really thought about this, and I think one of the ways that I am privileged is probably through marriage. That's all I could really think of, because I do believe that married couples are afforded some privileges that maybe single folks or single moms with children may not be afforded. So yeah, that was what I thought of when it came to privilege, and how have I experienced incident of racism and how has it made me feel under the terms. It's I've experienced so many racist or slights or microaggressions that are race related in my lifetime, that I don't even think they jump out. I do remember a girl bringing me all of her items from her McDonald's, little toys that she got from McDonald's, and bringing them to school. All the minority kids or play toys in her McDonald's, and thought that maybe I would want them. And her mom told her to take them to school to me. And I don't know. I was pretty offended by that. I thought, they're just plastic toys. Why does it matter what if they're green, purple, red, or orange? But what language would I use now? It's she was little, and I don't even think she understood it. For some reason, I believe that was an adult suggestion or ideal. Or if she did bring them to me, maybe she didn't. I don't know. I have no idea. What language would I use? Sometimes I don't even know what language to use, because I don't understand I don't understand the thought that goes behind some of the actions or behaviors, but I do think that is due to a system that is structural racism, or internalized racism, intellectual racism. I just think that the when a country is built on certain institutions and set up a way, and the story that's been told all along for hundreds of years was devised to set up racism in a certain way, that some people just, they don't even see it or understand it or know that there's a different underlying structure. So that's all I can think of. I hope I look forward to listening to others in their posts. Have a good evening.